All right, what's going on, everybody? We got another weekly Shonen Jump stream. Apparently, Jump is going on break next week, but we got Kagurabachi. Everyone's been going crazy over Kagurabachi for obvious reasons. We got One Piece, we got Ichi the Witch, we got Kiyoshi, we got all the good stuff. So we're gonna read our usual favorites today. We got Eden's in the chat. What's going on, Eden's? You're... We got Justin Garcia in the chat. What's going on, Justin? Hey, Justin, what happened with the Bears? I didn't really follow the draft too closely. I just know who the picks. So, talking about the NFL draft, who did the Bears get? Yeah, I think it's Golden Week. Yeah, that probably makes sense. It's weird though, because they started that first new manga already, and then they didn't do it for this week, so I'm assuming the next new one will be in the next magazine, so 2 weeks from now. While we wait for the usual folks to hop in, what's everyone reading for manga? What are we watching for anime? I know people are enjoying Guilty Gear. Fire Force is awesome. Witch Watch is awesome. It's like a nice chill season. It's not like last season where there were 2 great shows and then everything was like, eh. This season's like, well, it wasn't so true for last season, but still, this season is like chill. Like there's a bunch of great shows, but nobody's like glazing any particular show. We got Devil Elf in the chat. What's going on, Devil Elf? Pleasure to have you. Hope you're having a great Sunday. I think the Bears drafted pretty good. They got that tight end. Interesting. I liked the pick. I'm more shocked in the Schroeder Sanders. I have no idea. I don't know. Excuse me. We got Eddie Rayman in the chat. What's going on, Eddie? Pleasure to have you. Eden's is catching up on Kagurabachi and Iruma-kun. I actually recently caught up on Iruma-kun. I'm like totally caught up. Read all, whatever it is, 400 something chapters. So let me know what you think. On that note, I also just finished reading Zatch Bell for the first time. I only read the first chapter of Zatch Bell 2, but I read all 323 chapters of Zatch Bell. Absolutely love it. I don't want to... I'll answer questions about it, obviously. I don't want to spoil too much more of my thoughts on that. But I will say that it's like one of the best 2000s shonen. I think it's like of the best of the 2000s manga, it's like one of the best you could possibly read. And I would actually say it's better than Shaman King. And I love Shaman King, but I'd say Shaman King and then Zatch Bell, which I think is high praise. I finished it already. Yeah, I was reading like a little over 100 pages a day, basically. So I think I read it in like inconsistently over the course of like a week, something like that. We got Gamer Chan Leanne in the chat. What's going on, Leanne? Pleasure to have you, as always. We got Josh Coplin as well. Josh Coplin. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. That means a lot. How you doing, Leanne? Obviously, we got a nice chill Sunday. We're gonna read some Shonen Jump. Couldn't ask for a better day. I finished it already. It's sad Zatch Bell English release didn't finish over in the West. Yeah, so I wasn't really clear on the backstory behind all that, and I looked into it, and it's actually pretty messed up how that went down. Um, Not to spoil too much, but I am going to make my own video kind of sharing my thoughts on my first impression and sort of going into the behind the scenes stuff. But what was I going to say? Basically what happened is the creator of Zatch Bell, he got so overwhelmed by the release schedule. One day he just like punched a hole in the wall or on his desk or something, and he hit his hand so hard he broke his hand. And he told Kadokawa, the weekly Shonen Sunday people, he's like, hey, I broke my hand. Like, regardless of how it happened, like I literally can't draw with this hand. And it kind of had a big impact on Zatch Bell because it set the anime back. Excuse me, because so the manga went on hiatus for a month while he rested his hand, but the anime kept going. So by the time the manga started back up, the anime had caught up, and they were like, well, we'll just end the anime. If he hadn't broken his hand, we probably would have got a completed anime, because the anime is pretty darn close to the manga. It's not like they're wicked far apart. Like, they're pretty close. It's like a fun, what is it, 150 episodes? So it's pretty close. Started reading Ichi the Witch. What do you think of it? Obviously, I love it, but I'm always curious to see what people have to say. Did my heroes did Horikoshi smash his hand as well? Anyway, let's get into Kagurabachi. So it opens with a painting of a legendary mythical bird, assuming it's some kind of phoenix. The person who painted it says, "It's no myth. This painting depicts a scene I myself witnessed during the Seitei War." Okay. Suzaku. So of course we're in a three-way battle between Chihiro, Mr. Samura, and unhinged villain that I can never remember their name. The art is crazy in this chapter, pages 6 and 7. So we're on chapter 77, by the way. The art is crazy. The perspective, that's kind of one of the things that's really good about the art style. Obviously, it's a very simple art style, but where Kagurabachi makes up for it is in the perspective. It's like cinematic, like movie-like. For Hirohiko, killing was just killing. There's no deeper meaning. He had contempt for all things. So he turns the entire hotel into a play. Essentially, it seems like he's restructuring the hotel. But it's so they portray it as if he's incompatible with this ability, and yet here he is basically restructuring the entire hotel. Still reading Zatch Bell? No, I caught up on Zatch Bell. I read one chapter of Zatch Bell too, and it seems like it's going to be good. I've seen the volume covers, so I've seen the redesigns, and I read the first chapter. It seems like it's going to be like a nice sequel, and I could only assume so because everyone who reads it is like regularly recommending it. So Horikoshi's health got worse, not having break time to recover by fan base. Yeah, that's common with a lot of mangaka for sure. So Hirohiko really does not seem to care about Mr. Samura. He just wants to get him out of the way. He says, Chihiro, you alone are special. I have to be honest, I feel like this is a boring character. I don't hate this character. I don't think they're bad or anything like that. But I don't know. I would have to reread the last like 30 or 40 chapters, but I'm not crazy about Hirohiko. I wouldn't say he's one-dimensional, but I feel like he's not that engaging of a character. I wouldn't say he's one-dimensional, but his motivation is kind of boring, I guess is the best way to put it. Because his whole motivation is just like, he wants to fight. But like, I don't know. There's just something missing with this character, I feel like. I don't really know what it is. Like, he's supposed to be kind of like a Kenpachi type character that like is obsessed with fighting and killing. But there's just something that I feel like is missing from his character. I like the arc, but I don't know, just something about this character. I'm just like, I feel like he's very forgettable. But Mr. Samura, on the other hand, rises to the top of the tower, activates the wing ability, flies back down, flies back to the fight. He's blasting through everything to get to me. The third power is Suzaku, the power of the immortal bird. So he used the ability to take down Hirohiko. So, I don't know. I would have to reread, but I feel like, I guess my problem with Hirohiko is he's kind of like he's like a central force in this arc and the arc prior, but I feel like he doesn't really do that much to change Chihiro, at least not after the first fight. I don't know, there's just something about him that I feel is lacking. Anyway, decent chapter. I'd give it like a 7. It was nothing crazy. If you love Hirohiko, this was a great chapter, but if you're not crazy about Hirohiko, it's just sort of whatever. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The adaptation can't come any sooner. Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like it's only a matter of time. So it's chapter 77. So I feel like I know I made a video predicting like when the anime will get announced, but what's so May, June, July. I feel like late summer, early fall, it might get announced. Zatch Bell's been pretty good so far. All right, good to hear. My hot take, the authors should go company like Sunday as months, like 2 weeks more time. So you're basically saying like take more breaks, higher quality chapters. In an ideal world, that would be nice, but manga would be so much slower. You would get volumes so much slower, way less frequent, and anime would be even slower. Also, can everyone see me okay? Because on my stream, I'm fine, but my preview on YouTube seems to be frozen. But I just want to make sure everyone can see and hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up emoji if you can see me just fine. It might just be my YouTube page crashing. The chat seems to be working fine. Yeah, it looks fine. All right, thank you. You seem fine. Okay, word. Just go back to what I was saying. But yeah, no, it would be nice if we could like every manga be monthly, but the wait would be killer. Like you would just like forget about manga. I mean, even the space between like weeks, like if a manga isn't like the shit, you kind of forget about it after like a week. So yeah, it's not an easy solution, but clearly they're doing better about it, but there needs to be a better support system. I've been having the same discussion regarding health issues with Jump artists, and one person in my chat forum, including myself, would be that artists take a month break after big arcs. That's not a bad idea. That's what Oda basically does. That's what a lot of them basically do. That's why I like Jump Plus, because Jump Plus, there isn't that pressure of like weekly prints. So if you want to take a break, you take a break. It doesn't really affect sales. And yeah, but again, it's like the Japanese market is still dependent on those print sales, so they kind of gotta push that weekly schedule. Excuse me. Anyway, that's Kagurabachi. Let's move on to Ichi the Witch. So I think I'm a week behind on everything. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm a week behind, but that's okay. Just means more manga to read. So for Ichi the Witch, I'm on chapter 31. Of course, if you don't want spoilers, might want to take a break from the stream. Excuse me. So the recap from chapter 30 was they confronted the Bakugami magic, whatever their name actually is. He played his cards. He said, well, I can just manipulate everyone and steal all their emotions. If you want to stop me, then I'm just going to control your sister. So Gokuraku has a choice to make. And in chapter 31, we're getting a flashback to Gokuraku when he was a kid and his mother was still around. So we get a reveal that Gokuraku came up with the magic items himself, and he originally did it to make the Bakugami country rich, right? Save the country. They cut to a scene where the mother's passed away, and they're supposed to bring flowers to the mother's grave, but Bakugami has manipulated everyone, and so the sister is bringing them to Bakugami instead of the mother. And then Gokuraku confronts Bakugami, says you're not a god. And this is how he gets separated and cast out from society. But of course, Gokuraku is like, all right, you have yourself a deal. I know they revealed their name, but the Bakugami magic is like, I said, if you want to stop me, you'll have to take my trial. And my trial is to bear the weight of 10 years of sorrow alone. So basically, they're having like a Zoro moment with Kuma, like a nothing happened at all moment where they have to absorb all this pain. So he's going to spin a wheel, and whoever the wheel lands on has to take the trial. But Gokuraku punches the wheel, you know. Instead of mind over matter, it's matter over mind. I think that works. He's like, all right, let's not play games here. I said I'd do it. So he punches the magic in the face. He's like, screw your trial. Like, let's not do this. He punches the magic in the face so many times, like their face is literally warped. Like it's like clay art falling apart. In retaliation, he's like, well, I'm just going to torture your sister if you're going to be a jerk. And then Ichi comes out of nowhere, jumps the Bakugami magic, and he says, Gokuraku, is this the bastard magic you want to punch? That was an awesome chapter. But, of course, now we come to this week's chapter. Excuse me. So, Ichi was obviously being chased by everyone in town, and he switched with poor Kumagi, who is now being chased in his place. He commends Gokuraku. He's like, hey, nice punch. We get another instance of the Ichi Gokuraku bromance, which I can never get enough of. But then this magic freaks out, and he's like, why do you smell like the world hater? And he's like, yeah, he's like, what happened? He goes, what's up? My name's Ichi. I'm a witch. And the world hater? Oh, I froze it in ice and stabbed it in the neck with a stick. So now they're jumping the Bakugami magic, right? They're like, screw the trial. We just want to punch you in the face. Which is, it's awesome. It's amazing. So he summons Gokuraku's sister, and now they have to back off. And basically, the more they attack the magic, the bigger divide they're going to create between Gokuraku and his sister, which is obviously the opposite of what they want to do. But plot twist, it seems like he's creating an illusion. Right? Yes. Okay. Plot twist, Gokuraku is now going to attack Ichi because of an illusion. Basically cast an illusion, a nightmare that's going to drive him to insanity. Who's hyped characters from which? I'm not really sure what you're asking. Those are given, so the nightmares. So now Ichi has to confront, not necessarily fight, but defend against Gokuraku. So that was a decent chapter. Obviously, it was sort of an in-between chapter, but, you know, I'd give that like a 7 out of a 10. Obviously, I'm more excited to see the following chapter. Let's go ahead and read Kiyoshi, because I'm curious to see how this big fight is going. So again, I'm behind on this one as well. Sosuke is fighting the number 1 Demon Lord, or number 3, I can't remember. But he told Kiyoshi, he's like, look, I got this. Go fight the High Demon Lord, or whatever their name is, the one we already met. So he casts a spell, Perfect Blue White Dragon. Yeah, I gotta head out because spoilers. That's all right. You can always come back. Oh, so who are the top 5 characters in Ichi? In no particular order, I would say Discaris, Ichi, Gokuraku, Kumigi, World Hater, I would say are the top 5. But obviously everyone is saying Discaris is like the new Gojo. So not exactly my words, but you know, take that for what you will in terms of reasons to hype up a character. I love Usazaki's art in the magazine. So who do you think has the best art in the magazine currently? So we'll take a break from Kiyoshi for a second, because that is an excellent question. So we have Kagurabachi, One Piece, Nice Prison, Sakamoto Days, Kiyoshi, Ichi the Witch, Himiten, Shinobi, Elusive Samurai, Witch Watch, Blue Box, Sidcraft, Akane Banashi, Embers, Kill Blue, Roboco. I feel like there's at least one more. New Ace Exorcist. And then Star of Beethoven, Chojo. Those are the last 2. If we're talking strictly Shonen Jump, yeah, strictly Shonen Jump, I would say it's between Kagurabachi and Ichi the Witch. I like Usazaki's art style better overall, but I feel like Kagurabachi, Hokuzono has like the better peaks in like spreads. Like the spreads in Kagurabachi go crazy. So I would say Ichi has the better overall art style, but Kagurabachi has the better looking spreads most of the time. Anyway, back to Kiyoshi. So Sosuke is fighting this devil. He uses perfect blue white dragon. It's like a laser attack, kind of like a Frieza attack. Hits the demon lord in his abs. Seems like a lethal blow. Claims he's going to cut right through his defense. So the Demon Lord has ice power attacks. He shoots a bunch of icicles at Sosuke. Sosuke gets lit up. Then he shoots an icy death wave. So it's like a big wave attack, obviously. Not letting up, overwhelming Sosuke. He uses an icy punch. Seems to be freezing Sosuke, then he chokes him, goes in for a finishing attack. Then we get a Sosuke flashback to when he's just a little kid. He brings home a report card. You got a 100 on a test. So he's like, do you think I can become an amazing cross paradigm like you? Mom talking to his mother. So this is the first time we see Sosuke's mother. She says being a cross paladin isn't just about being strong or smart. And then she points to his heart and says, this is what that's what is most important. And then we find out that the mother passed away. She died protecting a boy around the same age as Sosuke. Wait a minute. Did she die in the attack against, I think it was against Kiyoshi's family? Plot twist. This is a good chapter. So this inspires, he's thinking back on his mother's words to him. He thinks back to his mother. He smiles. He shot himself with boiling water to melt the ice that was trapping him. So the Demon Lord asks for his name because now he's impressed. And Sosuke says, my name isn't something I'd willingly tell a demon, which is kind of a weird line, but it shows that Sosuke is feeling kind of confident, which is nice. So that was a decent chapter, but obviously I want to see how this continues. It seems like it's a better fight than the prior fights, because it's not just gonna be like a one and done, but I could be wrong. Depends on how this chapter goes. Are there any other authors influenced by the JoJo's author? His style, stories, and different pop culture might try to do something new like Cowboy Bebop, Vinland Saga, the monster creators. So are there any other authors influenced by JoJo's author? Off the top of my head, I know the creator of Demon Slayer was inspired by JoJo's Part 2. So like the whole demon vampire thing, and then using the power of the sun as like the power system. That was supposed to be like all, or not the sun, excuse me. The power of like breathing and like the sun. I think Takahashi of Yu-Gi-Oh was. Could be. Not sure. Excuse me. So, Sosuke uses a salamander attack, shoots a giant laser at the Demon Lord. They exchange attacks. They're just shooting a bunch of beam attacks. He charges up some kind of double attack now in both hands. The air is getting colder. He says a mere negative 460 degrees Fahrenheit. That's all it takes to reach absolute zero in the human world. Absolute zero in the demon world is, he says, basically twice that. So he sends an attack towards Sosuke, and it's like the real deal. Like if it touches him, he's dead, basically. That's what it seems like. Yeah, so he touches Sosuke's arm and like instantly just frozen, about to fall off. So he casts an Orochi attack with his other arm. He doesn't know what to do about his left arm. But he melts the ice off, at least. We got a subscription from Permi Kachi Vident. Thank you. I wouldn't be surprised if Yu-Gi-Oh was inspired by JoJo's. The outfits and poses in Yu-Gi-Oh are pretty crazy, to say the least. So the Demon Lord charges up a powerful ice attack. So he's only... So Sosuke is charging up an attack with just his one arm, which is kind of a flex, even though he has no choice. So he thinks about all the cross paladins, his family, his late mother. So he does. He has like kind of a Gohan moment. He like takes both of his arms and does like a ki attack, basically like a Kamehameha. I won't let him down even if it kills me. Of course, talking about Kiyoshi. Jabberwocky? I feel like that's a really lame name for an attack. I'm not familiar with Alice in Wonderland. Does anybody know what a Jabberwock is? I don't know. I feel like that's a very specific reference that went right over my head. Wait a minute. Yu-Gi-Oh was influenced by JoJo. I'll have to look into that because I've never heard of that before. But I definitely see the influence. All right, so the dust clears. Sosuke landed his attack. They both hit each other. They're both standing. The Demon Lord is standing on his 2 feet. You never should have had a chance. Do you fancy yourself a martyr? And then, of course, he crumbles into pieces and says, hot-headed bastard. So that was the third demon lord. So that was the third strongest demon lord before like the top demon lord. So that was also a relatively quick fight, but I feel like it was a lot more level, a lot more grounded, a lot more engaging, I guess, than the previous fights. It was nice because it fleshed out Sosuke's character, which he definitely needed at this point. And it was also just a really cool fight. It was a nice like Kamehameha that like he sort of earned, even though if it's named Jabberwocky, which I still think is a whack name. But that was a nice chapter. I would say also like 7 out of 10. I don't know. This is an okay week for Jump if you ask me. Nothing crazy. Death Note also Tim Burton style. Yeah, that definitely makes sense for sure. I think we will read One Piece and then that will be the end of today's chapter or today's stream. Definitely read that one. Excuse me. All right, so we are on One Piece chapter 1147. That is the newest chapter. In the Yamato cover story, they come across Raizo, who is the daimyo of Udon. So I'm guessing all the... I don't know. Of course, if Raizo was in charge of watching who's who, kind of makes sense why he was doing his own thing. But of course the Holy Knights are attacking Saul. Robin doesn't really know what to do. They tied up the Straw Hats, so Jinbei, Usopp, Nami, and Brook. Robin and Chopper are just sort of hiding. Apparently she knows something about Brook. Interesting. It's funny, she says she's gonna kill Brook, but he's so clearly already dead. So I feel like that's just stupid. Anyway, they're attacking the village. The kids seem like they're okay, at least, but they're also getting attacked by all of the nightmares. The leader of the Holy Knights is talking to Ja Rule. I still have to look up how you would say his name, but he says, "You're the boss around here, obviously, because you guys don't have a living king." He says, "Our goal here is quite simple, to make you giants our slaves in battle," which, you know, obviously sounds like a fun business opportunity. So it seems like they got all the kids. The kids are safe. But it looks like Robin's going to step in and save the day. Decent One Piece chapter, obviously. Again, kind of like a in-between chapter. Some decent moments. A nice Brook moment where, of course, he stands up for Luffy, as always. But yeah, again, none of the chapters this week like really stood out. I thought it was okay, but nothing crazy. But that's going to be it for today. Eddie is leaving. See, or what do we got? Oh no, audience is leaving. Excuse me. See you, audience. Thanks for joining in. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Make sure to check out the art style video that I posted this morning. Had a lot of fun making that one. Look out for a video Tuesday. That'll be on Fire Force. And then stream tomorrow. Let's see. Should be new Dawn to Dawn, right? Let's find out. Okay, yeah. So Dawn to Dawn stream tomorrow. We'll probably do some kind of read-through stream on Thursday because there's no Marshall King. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, everybody.